Today we're talking about parallel lines cut by a transversal. The first definition we want to look at is alternate interior angles. Alternate interior angles are inside the parallel lines and they're on opposite sides of the transversal. So the interior part always refers to the parallel lines. So we're always referring to interior. We're going to talk about inside these parallel lines here, L and M. Okay? Alternate refers to the transversal that's coming down and intersecting those two parallel lines. So in this case, we're saying line L is parallel to line M. So these two arrows on that line indicate that they are parallel. So now we want to look at, okay, well, what are alternate interior angles? They are 4 and 6, and also 3 and 5, right? And they're congruent. Notice I used the congruent symbol with the arc to say that they were congruent. Angle 4 is congruent to angle 6, and angle 3 is congruent to angle 5. Okay, and those are on opposite sides of the transversal, and they're inside the parallel lines, and therefore they're alternate interior angles, and they're always congruent. Now we want to look at alternate exterior angles. So if interior was inside, exterior must be outside, right? So again, we're looking at the parallel lines L and M, and exterior, we're talking about the outside of those parallel lines. So where can we find them? Well, we come to the parallel lines. We're looking outside here and outside here. And of course, we're talking again about alternate, so we're going to be on opposite sides of this transversal. Okay, so where can we find those? Well, we can say 1 and 7 are alternate exterior, and those are always congruent. And we can say 8 and 2 are alternate exterior, and those are always congruent as well. Now notice that I've marked these with only one arc and these with 2 arcs. In the last video we said vertical angles are always congruent. Notice that 2 and 4 are vertical, 6 and 8 are vertical, 5 and 7 are vertical, and 1 and 3 are vertical. So I've actually indicated that those are also congruent, right? And that's because vertical angles are always congruent. So let's get some numbers in here. Let's say we said that this was 80 degrees, right? By vertical angles, these would also be 80 degrees, right? But what about the new definition we just learned? Alternate interior. We know if 4 is 80, so is 6, right? And how about alternate exterior? Well, if this is 80 degrees, right? We know that this angle here, 1 and 4 together, is a straight angle. And that straight angle we talked about in the previous video was always equal to 180 degrees. So we can say that 1 and 4 are actually supplementary, right? And supplementary is another definition that we've covered, and it means equal to 180. It means those angles will add up to be 180. So 180 minus 80 would make this 100 degrees, right? And now by alternate exterior angles, I know that 7 must also be 100 degrees, okay? And now, by vertical angles, this must be 100 degrees. By vertical angles, this must be 100 degrees, right? And if we want to keep going, we can use vertical angles here and vertical angles here. And now we see that really it's like having the same set of angles in 2 different locations. And that's actually what we call, and I'm going to write in a different color here, corresponding angles. These are corresponding angles. And corresponding angles are also, right, also congruent when lines are parallel. These are all true, right? The important fact here, when lines are parallel. This is our important fact. They must be parallel lines, right? Now we have alternate interior, we have alternate exterior, we have corresponding. So what would be a pair of corresponding angles? Well, corresponding angles is saying like, well, the 100 up here is pretty much in the same location as the 100 down there. So really 1 and 5, angles 1 and 5 are congruent because they're corresponding angles, right? Another pair would be 4 and angle 8. Another pair would be 2 and angle 6. And another pair would be 3 and angle 7. And notice that I've made them congruent each time because these lines are parallel. And we know that if lines are parallel, corresponding angles are congruent. Okay? So we see supplementary angles, we see vertical angles, we see alternate interior angles, we see alternate exterior angles, we see corresponding angles, okay? And now there are things like same side interior as well. So same side interior, you could imagine, well, if we're talking about interior, we're talking about inside. And if we're talking about same side, now we're talking about the transversal. So angles 4 plus angle 5, sorry, not 6. Angle 5 must equal 180 degrees. Okay? And that's same side interior. Okay? And same side exterior would be the same idea. Angle 1 plus angle 8 would also be equal to 180 degrees, and that's same side exterior. And again, this is when lines are parallel, right? When lines are parallel, okay? And that's all for parallel lines cut by a transversal. We've got alternate interior, alternate exterior, corresponding, same side interior, and same side exterior. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a nice day.